As of the time of recording this, it is Monday, June 22nd at 5:36 p.m. and if you're seeing this, I've made it through the first month of my self-portrait project. Like all good things, this project had to start somewhere. When first conceptualizing the idea for this project, this particular portrait was one of the first that came to mind. I don't know exactly what drew me to it, but once my brain had latched on to the idea of it, it would not let go. I just had this deep desire to create something strange and unique, and that desire is what became Slef. The concept behind this portrait was to portray myself in a sort of otherworldly way. The biggest inspiration for me was that guy that paints himself red and kind of just goes around and does things. Yeah, that guy. I'd seen a handful of his videos over the last couple of years, and the idea of showcasing myself in a bright, pigmented, almost unnatural color seemed strangely appealing in a way. The only thing I had in mind was that I was going to paint myself a bright pink, and I would figure out the rest from there. With that idea in mind, it began. To be honest, it did not in fact start at the conceptualization of the idea, but rather about halfway through June. I kept telling myself that I was going to start on it, at least sketch out some thumbnails. I didn't start that until the 13th or the 14th maybe, and I didn't start gathering materials until a couple days after that. Needless to say, by the time I actually started working on this portrait, I was already running out of time. Actually, as of the time of recording, I only have a little over a week to finish and produce a full video. First thing I started with was gathering inspiration. Finding inspiration and references is one of my favorite steps in the process of creating something new, but for the sake of the time crunch, I fell back on the tried and true. The inspiration that I was looking for was a mix of a sort of punk look with bold, contrasting colors. After I collected my inspiration, the next step was to sketch out some simple thumbnails. This was the easy part. Since I already knew what I was shooting for, drawing my thumbnails was a breeze. This was also the part where I landed on dyeing my hair and painting my lips to get that blue accent color. Once I had my idea on paper and my materials were gathered, I prepared to snap my portrait. Achieving the final product was definitely one of the most fun parts of this project for me. It was on Thursday the 18th that I decided it was finally time to snap my photo. I definitely couldn't have done it without the help of the lovely people I live with. Kate and Lawrence helped me with cutting and dyeing my hair and painting my face. With his help, I was able to set up and shoot the whole thing in one evening. Unfortunately, I didn't record any of that. What I did record was all the editing I did. Here's the footage of me doing that at 50,000 times speed. When editing, I was using a new program. Shout out to Affinity for being free and awesome. I definitely recommend using it. So I had to take some time to familiarize myself with it. I did have to look a few things up to figure out what I was working with exactly, but I did find the answers pretty quickly. This was also my first time using masks, and they proved to be very useful in getting those certain parts of the photo to really pop. For a little comparison, here's the before and after photos. I usually go for a raw, unfiltered look, but for this portrait, I had such a specific vision that I knew editing would be needed. The editing part was a great learning experience for me since I don't usually edit my photos, and I had a lot of fun with it too. Hello, this is post-recording me. I forgot to share the photos that I took of the test that I did for the paint to see how well it stuck and how well it washed off. I also wanted to share the photos of me after we washed the paint off because they're funny. Okay, on to... I learned a lot while making this portrait. When I was trying to figure out how to structure this video, I knew that I had to include my experience and what I had learned. My biggest takeaways are 1, that a month is way less time to build a portrait from the ground up than I thought, and 2, that no matter how many times I call this a self-portrait project, it doesn't take away from the fact that I couldn't have done any of this alone. June went by so incredibly quickly, I didn't even know if I would have time to finish this portrait, and I absolutely wouldn't have finished it if I didn't have all the help that I did. The next portrait I do will definitely be documented better than this one was, and I hope that as I continue making these videos, the quality will also improve. If you want to see more of this, supporting me on my platforms is the best thing you can do. Anyways, I will see you guys next time, and remember, keep loving art, fuck AI, and create beautiful shit.
Molly like a beat, I got Super Saiyan 3. In other words, baby, please don't fuck with me. I do it alone, you be on the phone. Talking like that, you better watch your fucking tongue.